Hi guys, thank you everybody for coming tonight. So I just want to say a big thank you for the Insight Club. So we've organised for these students to come tonight. He sits on the board of ISO and he's also the vice chairman on the board of trustees at Sherman College of Chiropractic. He doesn't really need much of an introduction, so I'll deal with him.
Oh, well, thank you, Jess. Thank you, everybody. It's a pleasure to be here at the Anglo-European Chiropractic College. A little earlier, I was called into the principal's office, and he really gave me a royal tour of the place, and I'm very impressed with the facility, and I'm very thankful to have the opportunity to share with you tonight a little bit about my world, about what this thing called chiropractic looks like outside of the academic bubble in the rest of the world. So what I'm going to show you is the future of something called CWD. Now, chiropractic, CWD stands for Chiropractic World. It used to stand for Chiropractic World Domination, okay? But I was talking at Parker University, and I had to go to the toilet, I guess you guys would say, the bathroom, right? I had to go take a piss, right? You know what I mean? And I went out into the bathroom, and in the bathroom was Arnaud Bernier. Now, how many know Arnaud Bernier? Any ever hear of him? Okay, good. He's probably one of the most famous chiropractic speakers in the world. Excellent. Nobody heard him. Okay, so you would have thought it was great. But anyway, so I'm in the urinal, okay, and I'm having a urinal conversation with Arnaud. So Arnaud comes up. Now, Arnaud, he's French. So Arnaud says to me like this. Okay, this is my best French accent. Sorry, French people. This is how I do it. He says, Dr. Schubel, this chiropractic world domination thing, that kind of scares me. And I said, well, why is that, Arnaud? And he said, because I'm French. And he said, did you ever hear of the Germans? So I thought he was right. And really what I meant to say was not chiropractic world domination, it's chiropractic world predomination. Predomination, but that doesn't sound as cool as chiropractic world domination, okay? So what is the idea of chiropractic world predomination? The idea is this, that chiropractic becomes the predominant thought pattern for people in the world. The idea, if you could imagine this, is that everybody in the world, okay, we're talking 7 billion people. Can you imagine if there were 7 billion people on the planet, and every single one of them, and so 7 billion people on the planet, and every man, woman, and child on the planet were checked for something called vertebral subluxation and adjusted when necessary from birth. Can you imagine what that world would look like if every man, woman, and child on the planet were checked for vertebral subluxation and adjusted when necessary from birth? In other words, every human being would have the opportunity at birth to express optimal healing and functioning potential because we could eliminate right off the bat interference with the central nervous system that controls and coordinates every cell, tissue, and organ in their body. I know you can't imagine it, but I can. See, the idea is this. If we're going to change the current healthcare system, well, then we've got to change. We can't just keep doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result. We can't keep pumping money into a failed principle, a failed paradigm. We have to, as I would hope we would consider ourselves, as leaders, as the cutting edge in healthcare, then we have to be the change that we wish to see in the world. Instead of trying to emulate what has failed, it might be a better idea to become something unique, distinct, and inspirational so that we could develop ourselves a role that is crucial to the transformation and evolution of the planet. Now, pretty good so far? So my name is Dr. Lee P. Schubel, DC, KOABD. Now, for those of you who are, very into academics, You probably have never seen those. You've been DC, as you know, is a doctor of chiropractic, but KOAB to D, you might be wondering, well, what does that mean? I'm actually kind of a big deal. That's what that means. I'm kind of a big deal. Many people know me. I have 5,000 friends on Facebook, so sorry if you try to friend me, I'm not going to be able to. However, I do have a fan page that's pretty awesome. You could like that, and you'll be connected with international chiropractic. I have many leather-bound books. They're green. Green books. Okay, the other school, yeah. My room smells like rich mahogany in the United States. This one smells a little bit like mold or, somebody's used laundry that I'm staying at tonight. I'm the vice chairman of the board of trustees at Sherman College of Chiropractic. I sit on the board of the International Federation of Chiropractors and Organizations. When I was in active practice, I saw 1,000 practice member visits per week. And I know you're saying, how could he have the quality of care and everything else like that? I know, but it was awesome because we transformed lives. And I gotta tell you, I have 19 chiropractic offices right now, and the only reason I ever started to expand was because I couldn't possibly see all the people that need chiropractic care by myself. And what I, in short order, realized is that many doctors of chiropractic, or many people that graduate from chiropractic school, they don't know who they are, what they do, or why they're even doing what they're doing as chiropractors. So I saw my role as very quickly as training, educating chiropractors how to be chiropractors. And that if we can do that, we can transform the world. Let's see if we can, can you guys in the very, very, very back hear me or see me? If you want, there's still space in the front here. Let's take a short half-a-minute break. Come on in. Come on in, guys. And there's some chairs up here. We'll be back. Oh yeah, look at it. We got a whole front row. By the way, he paid £1,000 for this seat. Please let him know. VIP. Come on in. Okay, hey, it tastes late, right? Okay, ready for this? So here we go, you came for the best part. Here's the video, okay? So I want to give you an idea, before I get going tonight, I want to give you an idea of what my world is like. And challenge you to think that maybe the world, the bubble that you're currently in, could be a limit or putting a blinder on the potential that you have in your life. This is from our offices.
You show the lights that stop me, turn to stone. You're shining when I'm alone, and so I tell myself that I'll be strong. And dreaming when they're gone, I had a heart then, but the queen has been overthrown, and I'm not sleeping now. The dark is too hard to beat, and I'm not keeping now the strength I need to push me. You show the lights that stop me, turn to stone. You shine it when I'm alone, and so I tell myself that I'll be strong. And dreaming when they're gone, 'cause they're calling, calling, calling me home, calling, calling, calling home. You show the lights that stop me, turn to stone. You shine it when I'm alone. Says I play within my head, touch my skin, and hope they'll still be there. And I think back to when my brother and my sister slept in another place. The only time I feel safe. You show the lights that stop me, turn to stone. You shine when I'm alone, and so I tell myself that I'll be strong. And dreaming when they're gone, 'cause they're calling, calling, calling me home, calling, calling, calling home. You show the lights that stop me, turn to stone. You shine when I'm alone. You show the lights that stop me, turn to stone. You shine when I'm alone, and so I tell myself that I'll be strong. And dreaming when they're gone, 'cause they're calling, calling, calling me home, calling, calling, calling home. You show the lights that stop me, turn to stone. You shine when I'm alone.
So, at Edinburgh Lectures last time, one of the persons in the audience came up to me afterwards and said, "You know, Doc, everybody who presented on stage this weekend cried at some point. You didn't." When I see things like this, this is what gets me teared up. Because the potential that we have to transform and evolve the planet as we know it, if we would just embrace who we are as chiropractors, is absolutely amazing. Sometimes you don't know what you don't know. What you just saw is a video from Peru, where I have close to 19 offices I employ over 30 doctors in chiropractic. And I have to tell you, that was not an overnight success. When I arrived in the country of Peru in 1996, it was January 10th, 1996, I'll never forget it. And I remember getting out of the airport, and you know, when you left the airport, there was no terminal. It was, you'd walk out and there was giant police barriers, and there was about 10,000 people behind the police barriers yelling. And I didn't understand Spanish, so I didn't know what they were yelling. And the person who was supposed to come pick me up didn't come to pick me up. So I was waiting out there, and I remember saying, this is either the biggest mistake I ever made in my life, or it's going to be the best. And it's been often said, in life I had two roads, and I chose the one less traveled. That made all the difference. I remember when I told my friends and family I was going to Peru, I was so excited about it. And I quickly learned that the average person is not excited about a person going outside the fishbowl. At the time in Peru, there was Sendero Luminoso, which was a communist guerrilla organization that they were doing car bombings and hijackings, and it was kind of a very dangerous place to be. The economy was in the tubes. Everybody was subluxated. I guess that's why I was sent. I remember my first taxi ride, and the taxi driver said, "So what is it that you do, gringo?" And I said, "Yo soy quiropráctico." Quiropráctico is chiropractor in Spanish. And the taxista said, "¿Qué? Quiromancia?" Thank you, Spanish people, for understanding that. Quiromancia, quiro means hand, mancia is like seeing in the hand your future. So he thought I was a palm reader. That's what was the understanding of chiropractic in Peru in 1996. Now, if you ever meet a Peruvian and you say, "I know Dr. Schubel," they will know what we do and why. If you mention the word Schubel, my mom was down in Miami a few weeks ago, and she was using her credit card. And there was a Peruvian that was taking care of her, and the Peruvian said, "Schubel? Do you know Dr. Liam Schubel, the chiropractor?" And my mom was like, "That's my son." But I gotta tell you, it wasn't easy. And really the only thing that keeps you going when you go through the tough times, and I know you guys are in the tough times right now, because I don't care where you go to school in the world, it's torture! I know, I've been there. I remember sitting in your shoes. I remember watching people like Fred Barge or Sid Williams, come into our classroom, some of the chiropractic greats, and I remember, just like you, saying, "Gosh, that Schubel guy, he's so handsome. He's rich. He is eloquent. He's not that humble, though. You can work on that, right?" I remember sitting in your shoes and saying, I could never do that. Maybe I wouldn't even want to do that. But I got to tell you, once you get a vision greater than yourself, does anybody have a copy of my book? Do you have it on you? Anybody bring a copy? Did you bring a copy? Can I see it? Okay. All right. So I'm just going to open up a pretend book. Okay, I wrote a book, by the way. It's a smash hit. It's called Cast to be Chiropractor. So I'm going to open up my book. And look, oh, there's a quote on the first page. You see that right there? Good. You have an imagination too. Good. You'll be a good chiropractor. You ready? So we open up the book, and here, right next to the picture of me, there's a quote. And the quote is this: "The bigger the life." No, I blew the quote. You ready? See, I'm not reading. I got to pay attention to what I'm reading. "The bigger the vision, the bigger the life. The bigger the vision, the bigger the life." That's the quote. The bigger the vision, the bigger the life. Liam P. Schubel, DC. Great quote. I won't mention this for now, but I want to tell you that there's a seminar coming up in Barcelona, Spain. It's about communication, but I'm not going to mention it right now. I want to talk to you about becoming a change agent. Gandhi said, you got to be the change that you wish to see in the world. And what we see in the world as far as healthcare goes is that we're in crisis. Every year, we are spending more money on healthcare, and we are getting less result. We are actually having more sickness and more disease and more infirmity and more symptomatology and more dysfunction and more depression and more suicide than we've ever had in the history of the planet. And when I talk to politicians, when I'm involved with healthcare, writing healthcare laws in certain countries, what they always say to me when I say, what's your biggest challenge in healthcare? And they say, we just don't have enough money. They have a tendency to think that if we throw more money into the situation, things are going to improve. Well, again, if your principles are flawed, see the principles, one of the great things about Palmer, I'll tell you, you know who D.D. Palmer is? D.J. Palmer? One of the great things about the Palmers is they left us with the Palmer Laws of Life, which is something you might want to look up. And the great thing about principles and laws is that when they are correct, when they work, abundance is the natural result. So if you find in your life that things just aren't working out, what you usually find is that you're breaking some of these laws of life, some of these principles that we know. Principles always rise to the top. Sorry, I just had a stroke or something. Some people are doing good. All right. So, principles always rise to the top. In order to be a change agent, we need to bring about, and this is one of the important things about reading the green books, B.J. Palmer. Many people would say, oh, the green books, that's antiquated. That's archaic. That's nothing more than a historical concept. I don't know who says that, but some people I hear say that. Well, you know what? Aerodynamics and the proof that we could fly came with the Wright brothers in the United States back in the, I don't know, early 1900s. I don't even know what the date is, right? Have we stopped using those principles about aerodynamics? No, because they still work. They're a historical concept for sure, but they still work. The challenge with Palmer's work, you ready for this? The challenge with B.J. Palmer's work, when I read the green books, and I go, holy smokes, this is the solution to the healthcare tragedy that we have. And that's not to say that chiropractic is a cure-all. That's not to say that we don't need medicine. That's not saying that. What I'm saying is the philosophy of chiropractic is very distinct in that it asks the question, why are we doing this? What is the purpose? And the chiropractic purpose or meaning of life is to express life optimally. You express the intelligence through matter. And it's the force that delivers that expression of intelligence. That, ready? Innate intelligence. Oh my God, I said it. We'll get into that later. So you might want to leave that. So if we're going to bring about this paradigm, this new paradigm, because it really is new in the sense, even though it's been around since 1895, it's really new to this world. If you walked outside of this classroom and you walked into town here, nobody's ever heard of the Palmer Laws of Life. Nobody understands the potential application of those. Most people have never even heard or read about it. So if we're going to bring that to the world, if we're going to be audacious enough to say that we can do something different and possibly get a better result, well, then we got to do it. Here's what happens when you do that. When you say do? When you do that. And here's what happens. This actually happened to me. We signed a contract in our clinics and our offices to take care of the people in one of the largest university systems in the country that we're in. The medical doctor who was in charge of the program called me up on the phone and said, Schubel, you know how much that check was I wrote to you, to your clinics this month? I go, no. I go, look it up. When you need help, he says, $60,000 US for this month. And I said, yeah. What about it? He says, I'm aggravated that I got to write this check. I go, I'm sorry? And then he starts to laugh. And he goes, but you don't know how much money we've saved since our people are under chiropractic care on medical costs. I'm a hero at the university healthcare system because I chose as a medical doctor to step outside what I thought was normal, common, and customary. And boy, oh boy, am I and my superiors very pleased with the results. That's what I'm talking about. If I was duplicating what he did, he would have never come to see me. But what I chose was to be separate and distinct. Not making fun of him, not saying that he's wrong, just saying what I'm doing produces badass results. And we can show it to you if you just take a chance. So, change agents are people that act for change. You gotta understand there's a cultural authority going on. When I came over here, I was in the airport and I was listening to the director of the CDC, that's the Center for Disease Control in Atlanta, Georgia, in the United States. He's our health czar, this guy Fauci, he's a medical doctor. And he came out, and I guess unless you understood the importance of vernacular, of lexicon, you would be mesmerized, like the rest of the population, by what a person says. But if you are a person that chooses, with your intellect, to understand the meaning and value of word choices, and neurophysiology that is a result of that, like me, you listen. And what he said was this, you ready for this? This patient who had Ebola, the first patient to die in the United States of America. I'm sorry, I'm gonna. The first patient to die in the United States of America. Oh, he didn't say that. You ready what he said? He said, this patient, unfortunately, because it is unfortunately, had a life-terminating event. You know the word euphemism? That's being applied here. I thought he died. Oh no, he had a life-terminating event. This patient had a life-terminating event. Ready? In spite of, that's important, that word, in spite of maximal medical intervention. In spite of maximal medical intervention. What's that telling you? That we did everything we could, because we're the cultural authority, and in spite of what we know and what we did with our educated, putting stuff from the outside in, the patient had a life-terminating event, or they died. Do you know what the #1 cause of accidental death now is in the United States of America? It's called death by medicine. It's called the drug was properly prescribed. With all the evidence-based standards, those drugs were applied appropriately and the patient died. So you might ask the question, if you were a person who used your intellect and wasn't just a sheeple, you might ask the question, could it be that because of maximal medical intervention, that person died? You get what I'm saying? So the collective programming of a given society, it's a programming in regards to their norms and expectations, is medicine. That's the cultural authority. If we're going to make a change, we have to develop characteristics of being a change agent, because this is crucial to your success. As a chiropractor, people refer to you not by what you say, not by the facts that you spew out of your mouth, because that's what you paid your education for. They refer to you because of how they feel. Because of how they feel that when they were with you. You got to get your head on straight. It's a mental game to be able to go into a community and dramatically transform and evolve it because you exist, because of your presence, because of your vibration. So you have to develop these characteristics. #1, clear vision. #2, persistence. Number 3, question the cultural authority. Number 4, you got to be knowledgeable. Number 5, you have to have the capacity to build strong relationships. I love that picture. I look great. You got to have a clear vision. And as I stated to you, the vision could be, should be, something bigger than yourself. My vision is every man, woman, and child on the planet checked for vertebral subluxation and adjusted when necessary from birth. When people looked at my tour schedule here in the UK, they said, holy crap, that's intensive. How do you do it at your old age? I'm like, why, you son of a... I do it because I have to do it. I'm driven to do it. Because when you're given certain blessings and knowledge and understanding that you know can transform and evolve the world as you know it, with that blessing, you have a responsibility to share it with the world. That's the shift in mindset. You're just going to try to make a living. Good luck to you. I would recommend that you shoot for the stars. Because you're young, you've got everything going for you right now. You just got to get your head on straight. The book, Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. Chiropractic patient. He claims that chiropractic saved his kid's life. And he discusses what? Principles of success. That when you follow these principles of success, abundance is the natural and normal result. Just like the Palmer laws of life. When you follow the Palmer laws of life, abundance in your health is a natural result. So what is TIC? This chiropractic, TIC, right? You ever hear me say that? TIC! Wish you had stopped saying that, right? It's teaching innate chiropractic. We're teaching about how innate intelligence is expressed throughout the human organism. And what can we do to ensure that that innate intelligence is being expressed optimally? This is what I went online and I looked up what chiropractic was. Because in marketing, by the way, one of the keys to success in marketing is have something that they call a unique selling proposition. It's a USP, a unique selling proposition. Because what you want, if I go into Starbucks, right, I'm not expecting naked go-go dancers, right? I mean, I'm expecting a cup of coffee that I'm going to pay twice as much as it's worth, right? So if I go to a chiropractic office, what should I expect? And I went online, I looked chiropractic nutrition, chiropractic kinesiology, chiropractic liposuction, chiropractic decompression, chiropractic laser, chiropractic smoothing, chiropractic massage, chiropractic posture analysis, chiropractic ultrasound, chiropractic correction, chiropractic weight loss, chiropractic detox, chiropractic foot back, chiropractic vascular, chiropractic urology, chiropractic orthopedics, chiropractic balance, chiropractic this. Woo! I love this slide. This is a great, see that mixer on the table? Like she's frustrated with that, you know. So she's got the polvo all over. I won't mention this now. So you're in school. Things are getting tough. I want you to remember the good words of Hannibal, fellow European. We will either find a way or make one. Folks, I got to tell you, again, I'll remind you, I was not always this handsome and rich and eloquent. I wasn't like this, and I used to be more humble. I remember sitting in this chair, okay, when I was at the age, and I was sitting here, right? And I remember having a very low self-esteem because as a student, I had no money. I really had no education yet. I really didn't know how to do anything. I'm just studying theory and principle of how to do stuff. I did drive a bed, a Chevette. Not a Corvette, it's a Chevette. American Express used to call my house, they'd say, please leave home without it. Thank you, please tip the wait staff after this, okay? So anyway, I'm sitting there, and I remember just going, you know, we were in motion palpation class. You have motion palpation here? Okay. So I remember, this is my first motion palpation. You mind if I touch you here? Okay, good. So I'm in motion palpation class, and I'm, you know, going here, and the guy next to me, you know, is going, oh, that's the transverse processes. That's the spinal laminar junction. Oh, wow! This is great! Shubel, you want to feel this? Yeah, I don't feel a friggin' thing. Like, maybe this isn't for me. You ever get that idea? Like, maybe this thing isn't for me, you know what I mean? And I remember thinking that. I'm going, what am I spending all this money and time in here? I can't feel a friggin' thing. Man, I should quit. And then we got to adjusting class. And I remember I did the first chiropractic adjustment in my life. It's probably more like a manipulation. I'm sure it wasn't this specific, right? So I set up on the occiput and I go, boom, like that. And I thought I had peeled the person's head completely off. Boom! It was like a shotgun. You know, last week I was in the hospital adjusting people, and one of the patients I set up on an ASRA, and I was doing a seated Gonstead move because they couldn't get out of the bed, right? So I'm doing a move, and boom! And all the nurses came running in. What's wrong? What's wrong? I went, oh, just, you know, everything's cool. Somebody shot something outside. I didn't want to go take a look out there. You know? And I did that first adjustment on the occiput, or manipulation more, because I can't say it was specific. And the person goes, wow, that was incredible. And I was like, what? I did that? Yes. Here's the cool thing about chiropractic. Once you learn these skills, once you get through the torture chamber, because the deal is this. I remember my first quarter philosophy teacher. He goes, I want you to look to the right. No, it was spinal anatomy. He goes, I want you to look to the right. I want you to look to the left. In 4 years or 5 years, a certain percentage of these people will not be sitting here. They will have dropped out. This is a tough, rigorous program. I know it's tough and rigorous here. But he said, I'm a chiropractor. And he said, if you could live in my world for one day, you would realize why it's worth it. Muhammad Ali said, I hated training. I hated it every single minute. But I decided to suffer through it because I wanted to live the rest of my life as a champion. You're going to learn a skill here that with your hands, you can go anywhere in the world and optimize human potential. I mean, that's a cool thing. It empowers you. That's how you get the self-esteem up there. It empowers you. If you understand how to communicate chiropractic and then deliver the goods with a specific scientific chiropractic adjustment, holy smokes, people flock to you. And you get to do that anywhere in the world. You have a spine. Did you know there's only 2 contraindications to, by the way, it's a joke, so don't film it and go, Shubel said that. There they go, these vitalists again with their scientific claims. There's only 2 contraindications to a chiropractic adjustment. One is death, and 2 is spineless. So as long as you have a spine and a life force, you can be checked for vertebral subluxation and adjusted. That was a joke. So, how do you keep going, folks? Right? Because it's difficult. We're in school. How do we power on through? You know, Shubel, how do you do it? Being as old as you are, traveling all around the world, how do you make it happen? I've developed a passion for what it is that I do. I've fallen in love with what it is that I do. And I would suggest that you find a way to fall in love with chiropractic or go somewhere else and fall in love with something else. Because I have to tell you, the difference between happy people on the planet, successful people on the planet, abundant people on the planet, and those suffering in misery, desperation, and just getting through life is passion. In my neighborhood, I hang out with millionaires and billionaires. And one of the things that I find is I could be hanging out with the most uneducated billionaire. Uneducated! But the passion that they have, you're drawn to them. You want to hang out. One of the reasons I hire CAs, here's a practice building tip. I go to Starbucks and hire CAs from Starbucks. My chiropractic assistant. My secretarial staff from Starbucks. Shubel, why would you go to Starbucks? They don't know anything about health, do they? I said, anybody that can get that excited about selling coffee, I'm sure I can convince them to get excited about liberating the optimal human potential. As long as I supply them with enough coffee, of course. So here's Steve Jobs talking about what he feels, okay, one of the wealthiest men on the planet at his time, what he feels to be crucial to success. That's not it, that's my book. Okay. I'm sorry, I meant to say, that's my smash hit book.
People say you have to have a lot of passion for what you're doing, and it's totally true. And the reason is because it's so hard that if you don't, any rational person would give up. It's really hard, and you have to do it over a sustained period of time. So if you don't love it, if you're not having fun doing it, you don't really love it, you're going to give up. And that's what happens to most people, actually. If you really look at the ones that ended up, being successful, unquote, in the eyes of society, and the ones that didn't, oftentimes it's the ones that are successful loved what they did so they could persevere when it got really tough. And the ones that didn't love it quit because they're sane, right? Who would want to put up with this stuff if you don't love it? So it's a lot of hard work, and it's a lot of worrying constantly. And if you don't love it, you're going to fail.
So I mentioned I have a smash hit book. It's a story about how to develop a lifetime, passion for chiropractic. It takes you on a journey from where I was when I was sitting in your shoes to where I am now. It's a story of how to develop a lifetime passion for chiropractic. Try to find it. By the way, happy to donate it to the library here. They don't throw it out. Number 3, question the current cultural authority. One death every 24 minutes. Drugs are now the #1 accidental killer in the United States, with the vast majority of deaths caused by prescription medication. I look at how medicines that are now a part of everyday life, in other words, they have the cultural authority, can also turn families upside down forever. My daughter, Marianne Schubel, 12 years old, she's one of a twin. That means the other one was born at the same time. It was a boy. See, I knew embryology. So, every day she comes home from school, I say, hey, Marianne, I try to, get a little understanding of what her life is about. And I said to her one day, Marianne, what's your favorite class in school? And she says, art, Daddy. I was like, oh, cool. She's a brilliant artist. Actually, some of her artwork has been published in various chiropractic textbooks. She's really good. And I said, Marianne, what's your least favorite class? Health. What? Health is your least favorite class? Why? Because, Daddy, all they do is tell lies in health class. What? They tell us, just say no to drugs. Don't take drugs. It's bad for your health. But then when we're sick, they tell us to take drugs to restore health. They're out of their minds, Dad. And they've all been vaccinated, by the way. My daughter's like one of the only, Typhoid Marianne walking around, unvaccinated. But I will tell you this, most of the kids in her school are taking at least one medication or something. When I was a kid, I didn't even know an autistic person. It was like a total rarity. Now it's epidemic. So I'm in Barcelona, speaking at the Barcelona Chiropractic College, and the Universal Intelligence decided to play a game. I was having a great day. And I'm walking down the streets of Barcelona, it's beautiful town, and I see this Happy Pills. So I figured it was a pharmacy, right? Was that what you figured? Like a pharmacy with a very positive mental attitude, right? I walk in, oh, it's a candy store. And so what do with your children, come on kids, you come on over here, let's get our pill box, And then let's read here. It'll tell you all the symptomatology that this treats. Apparently, high fructose corn syrup is the solution to everything. Cultural authority. This is how it starts. I was driving down the New York Thruway in upstate New York. It's a highway, like, the M3 or whatever you guys got, MCAS, I don't know yet, right? And once again, and excuse all the bathroom talk, I'm not walking to you guys for that reason. I had to go to the bathroom, so I went to the urinal, right? And I'm at the urinal, again, and Arnold wasn't there this time. And I see this sign right above the urinal. And I go, okay, what does this say? Important message from the New York Department of Environmental Conservation. Important message. Help protect the New York water. It's gotten cold. Don't flush. Don't flush. What don't flush what? Don't flush unwanted household medications or pour them down the drain. Instead, you should return them to a collection site when available. Or you can mix them with something undesirable, such as coffee grounds or cat litter or dirt. Put it into a container, tape up the container, throw it into the trash, or if your kid gets sick, just give it to them. It's extremely dangerous to put out into the environment. But as long as it's in your body or the children's, we're fine. The evidence shows. This is the cultural authority. There's an incongruency now, even in the cultural authority. B.J. Palmer said, no man or woman can anchor to an unanchored mind. So in other words, if you're going to be effective as a change agent, as a leader, as someone who's going to transform and evolve healthcare as we know it, then you better be a certaintist. You better know exactly what you're talking about. You better understand who you are as a chiropractor, what you do, and why. So here are the three components of being a chiropractic certaintist. Philosophy, science, and art. The green books are now available. Rob Sinnott, a chiropractor in the United States, has put them on CD, DVD, I don't know the technology, but you can order it, and it's a lot better ordering a CD or a DVD versus 40 different volumes of books and trying to ship them over to the UK. When you start to read them, rather than judging them for what you heard about them, when you start to read them, you will understand just how powerful the Palmer laws of life are and how they seriously could transform the healthcare system as we know it. Science. There's no science. Oh, there's plenty of science. Try this one, www.vertebralsubluxationresearch.com. Start reading about the research that's available rather than listening to what you've been told. Art. The art of chiropractic is the specific scientific chiropractic adjustment. You'll be amazed at the more specific you are with your chiropractic adjustment, the more outcome-based results start to improve. The better result you get in your office, the more specific will be your technique. So I would suggest you start focusing on being an expert at the specific scientific chiropractic adjustment. You gotta learn how to build strong relationships. You gotta expand your sphere of influence by committing to a purpose greater than yourself. So what's your purpose? Okay? Hopefully, you might be thinking about adopting a vision bigger than yourself. What's the purpose? The purpose, remember Steve Jobs said passion is what drives you when it gets tough? The purpose that I have in life, and by the way, this is a business tip as well. It's not only a life abundance tip, it's a business tip. Sid Williams, the guy right here, he's the founder of Life University. he enveloped this thing called lasting purpose. And a lasting purpose is this. My purpose in life is to give, to love, to serve, and to inspire, just for the sake of doing it. Now, why is this important? Especially, by the way, you'll watch the shift happen when you get out into your own practice. And whatever you do to promote your practice, it could be spinal screenings, it could be dinner talks, it could be walking down the street, being a part of the Rotary Club, whatever you're doing to promote who it is that you do and why it's so valuable. Instead of trying to go out and get new patients, you ever hear that? I'm going to go do this to get some new patients. Why don't you try going out to give something to someone? And what are you giving? You're giving this thing called chiropractic, which is a chance for optimal expression of life. You ever go buy something like a car, and the salesperson doesn't care at all what your needs are? All they care about is making the sale. You ever have that experience? Yeah, I guess I'm the only one that bought a car then. When you see that type of a salesperson, do you want to refer other people to that person? No, because you know the person is just in it for themselves, right? They're not in it to help you. But when you see a salesperson that is actually interested in your needs and is talking to you and trying to find out what it is that's important to you, that's the kind of person people send other people to. So I want to suggest to you, because by the way, this is something, it's a phenomenon worldwide. I've spoken in almost every chiropractic college in the world. We get caught up in the educated mind, which is important because we have to pass these exams and we have to get a license. But when you get out and practice, there's really two things that every practice member or every patient, as you might say, this is what they want to know. Doctor, or whatever you are, I don't know if you're not a doctor, chiropractor, do you love me? And can you help me? Do you love me? And can you help me? Now, love is not a romantic love. I'm talking about, do you care about me? Because I've been to many other places where all they care about is money, where all they care about is the form, the paperwork, the documentation. But I want something different with you. I hope that when I come in to see you, right, you kind of want to have that professional that I would send my mom to. You know what I mean? Like, you want to be the person that other people will go, I'm sending my mother over to you because I know that your intentions are good. You love serving people. And you can help them. Doc, I got moth-eaten alopecia, lymphogranuloma inguinale, gout. Can you help me? Are you ready? Oh boy. Some people are going, here he goes. Right? And he's going to say it. She will say, chiropractic is the cure. The cure of all disease. I'm not going to say that. Because it's not true. This is the bad rap that vitalists get. So in some schools they're actually taught, vitalists think that, you got cancer? I'll cure it with a chiropractic adjustment. I don't blame you for not wanting to be a vitalist if that's what they think, because that's called crazy. In any language. Doc, I got moth-eaten alopecia, lymphogranuloma inguinale, and gout. Can you help me? Yes. What? He just said it! Not to treat your gout. Not to treat your lymphogranuloma inguinale. They just had another stroke. Not to treat your moth-eaten alopecia. I'm not going to treat any of that. I am going to ask a very specific question. It's the question that my philosophy, that I know so well, has taught me. Why? Why has your body lost the natural inborn capacity that it had to heal and function optimally? Because I know all the other professionals in the world that are accepted and that have mountains of research behind what they're doing. This is how much research they have behind what they're doing. I was in the hospital last week, and this patient was getting a heavy narcotic, and they just had to press the button, and the IV would drip down the heavy narcotic. And I said to the doctor, so how are you determining, how much to give to that person, right? There must be some kind of evidence-based results that would tell you how much to give, right? I mean, because it's a strong drug, you can kill a person. It could shut down their central nervous system, their respiratory system, their cardiovascular system. Doc, tell me, please, what's the evidence behind what you're doing? He says, yeah, we've just used our experience. You mean your clinical outcome? So it's evidence informed then? Yeah, of course it is, Doc. So what is, okay, so tell me, what are your objective criteria to determine if the person needs the drug or not? Good question, Doc. If the patient says they're at an 8 or a 9 of pain, then we deliver the drug. So if I come in here, Doc, and I'm making something up and I say I got an 8 or a 9, you're going to deliver the drug? Yep. Okay. Good. Evidence-based. So I want to ask the question, why? Why has this person lost that inborn, innate capacity to heal and function optimally? Where could this be obstructed? Does you ever get that one cause, one cure idea with chiropractic? What was meant by that is that we ask the question, why is this person not functioning at their optimum potential? Other professions also eliminate interference with the natural ability of the body to heal and function optimally. If I have a massive tumor pressing on something, that's limiting my capacity to heal and function optimally. If I remove the tumor, in essence, I've removed an obstruction to optimal healing and functioning potential. That's not chiropractic. So it's not unique to chiropractic to do that. But where our specific focus is to find where in the nerve system, because everybody in the world recognizes scientifically that the nerve system is the master control system of the body. It controls and coordinates every cell, tissue, and organ in the whole body. We know that when a vertebra in the spine is subluxated, it puts pressure on a nerve, or there's some other kind of explanation for it, depending on what research you're looking at. It has some kind of physiological interference to the maximum nerve impulse throughout the body. It limits or obstructs the vivification of the cells. And we know that when we do this specific scientific chiropractic adjustment, or even a manipulation by accident, that innate intelligence of the body has the capacity to reorganize, restore, heal, and function optimally again. Does it do it always? Does the moth-eaten alopecia go away? Maybe. Maybe it doesn't. Does the neck pain and back pain go away? Maybe it does. Maybe it doesn't. But what is always true? Is it better to have nerve interference, or is it better to not have nerve interference? This is some of the powerful research now that's coming out of New Zealand Chiropractic College with Heidi Havoc. And I gotta tell you, she just wrote a book. It's not as good as mine, but it's pretty good. Reality Check, it's called. Reality Check. Get real. Get outside the bubble and get real. Okay, good. Get outside the bubble and get real. Reality Check. Hello, I'm McFly. There's research. So she presents this research to in relation to the vertebral subluxation. She presents this research to a group of I'm having tongue twister city over here. Neurobiologists, somewhere up in Scandinavia. I think it was Norway, whatever country she's from. She's at a conference of neurobiologists. And the neurobiologists say to her, after looking at the research, they say, oh my goodness, we got to get this into the cancer treatment protocol. What? Schubel didn't say it. A neurobiologist said it. Not as a treatment for cancer, but, ready? Here's a word you got to learn in communication. Obviously. Because when you say the word obviously, everything after what you say is obvious. Obviously, this is what they say to her. Obviously, after looking at this research, if a person is fighting for their life with cancer, we want to create the conditions inside that person so that they can do battle with, function, reorganize, heal at their optimal potential. Because why on earth, if you had cancer, would you want to have nerve interference on top of it? I'll say it 10,000 times if I have to. Chiropractic is not about treating anything. It's not a cure for anything. Jim Singapus used to say, he just died recently, a famous chiropractic philosopher. He'd say, chiropractic can't even cure a hand. It's that life force within you that cures, that heals. What we do, the chiropractic uniqueness, the chiropractic participation or contribution to health is removing obstruction to the nervous system by adjusting vertebral subluxation. That's what we do. Other healthcare professionals remove obstructions as well. But what we do, we're the only doctors in the world that are highly trained to detect, analyze, and adjust vertebral subluxation. I think you probably have heard that word more than you have all year today. I'm not going to mention this right now, that this seminar I'm doing in Barcelona, March 21st and 22nd, I'm not going to get there yet. I don't want to talk about it too much. So, this is me on television. And have you guys heard of Dr. Oz in the United States? Dr. Oz? Okay, a few people are shaking their heads. Dr. Oz is the most well-known, one of the most well-known doctors of medicine in the United States. He's on television. And he has one of the highest rated programs on television. I guess she doesn't like Dr. Oz. One of the highest rated programs on television. So I go down to the equivalent of Dr. Oz in the country of Peru, and I'm on television with him. And I explained the vertebral subluxation. That's me explaining the vertebral subluxation there. And I said, so doc, if there's a bone out of place, this is a doctor of medicine. So doc, what happens in a vertebral subluxation? The bone's out of place. Well, it's a simple explanation. Students will go, that's not exactly how it works. Okay, well, I don't want to get into a 20-minute discussion when I only have 2. Okay, I have to be simple with my explanation. The bone is out of place, putting pressure on the nerve, cutting off the life force from the brain to the body. And the doc interrupts me and says, wait a minute. That means parents really need to get their children checked after the traumatic birth experience to see if they have subluxations. That's what he says to me. You ever see this? I don't know if this gets your Twilight Zone. You ever hear that? No. Good. Yes? You heard it? No, you don't want to talk about it. Good. Sometimes I don't even know what to talk about. So, Twilight Zone. It was a movie where wild things had happened that you wouldn't expect. So this medical doctor, instead of arguing with me, says, obviously, doc, then all kids need to be checked for vertebral subluxation. And I go, can I leave now? Like you just said it all. So, here's the 3 basics of chiropractic that are crucial to the transformation and evolution of the planet. If your practice members or patients can understand and communicate these 3 terms and have this understanding, and it's a challenge because they're coming from Crazy Town, not Cairo Town. If they can understand these 3 aspects and explain it, they will refer like crazy to your office. Number 1, innate intelligence, present in living things. It's in the living body, it's a self-healing, self-organizing thing. The whole idea is if I have a live body and I have, as they say in Spanish, muerto fresco, recently dead. If I cut my finger and I cut muerto fresco's finger over here, I'm going to heal. Muerto fresco is not going to heal. Okay? I can put an injection into muerto fresco over here. I can put some antibiotics into muerto fresco. I could sew up his cut. I could fake a manipulation or adjustment, bounce up and down on his spine. He's not healing. Because there's something about muerto fresco that is different than me. Muerto vivo. Right? There's something different. It's that something that we cannot quantify, but we know it's there because there's a manifestation of it all the time. I was at Oxford yesterday. I just walked around all day and went. And I'm at Oxford, and I went over to the Bodleian Library. You can make fun of me, I don't know how to pronounce anything. The Bodleian Library, the famous library there. And when I walked in the courtyard, there are the different schools of study that they have. And they had the School of Physics, they had the School of Anatomy, and then I saw something absolutely that made sense. The School of Metaphysics. What? But chiropractic has a metaphysical component. That's not scientific. Oh, is that right? You better tell that to Oxford then, because they're studying innate intelligence, nerve system, master control system, vertebral subluxation, chiropractic adjustment. You gotta learn how to explain these things. It's archaic, it's non-scientific. After all, it was said by D.D. Palmer, the fishmonger, in 1895. No validity to it whatsoever. Not true. Stop saying this, you're sounding like a crazy person. You don't want to be a vitalist, that would be insane. That would be imprudent. That would be a fraud. Intelligence is present everywhere in our bodies. Our own innate intelligence, oh my goodness, Deepak's saying it, is far superior than any we can try to substitute from the outside. Oh my goodness, Deepak Chopra, I got a low battery. Deepak Chopra is saying it now. He's using our word. We don't want it. We want to get rid of it. It's archaic. Deepak Chopra saying it. He's transforming the world. He's not afraid to say it. It's not afraid to tell the truth, Deepak. This video will change your life. And in the meantime, can somebody get me hooked up to some juice to change my life? Please, look, I have a cord here. But folks, I'm going to even make you wait for this because this is so good. And by the way, if you need to leave, feel free to leave right now because you're going to miss the whole best part of this thing, and you deserve it for leaving early. This video is a video that will transform your life, potentially. Why? Because it comes from your cultural authority. It comes from medicine. Listen to the word choices. Listen to the word choices. The semantics. When people say, it's just semantics, vertebral subluxation, spinal fixative lesion, neuropathiophysiological fixation. Listen to the word choices of a medical doctor and then watch the application of the philosophy. See, they have a philosophy, it's a mechanistic philosophy. Watch the philosophy and the application of the philosophy. He's going to speak in terms that you will understand. It's a biomechanical component. Watch the application of biomechanics in a vitalistic system. Watch what happens.
It's like wearing your belt too tight. And the surgery is designed to loosen the belt.
Like Dr. Rosner, he too now believes that some patients labeled with chronic fatigue and fibromyalgia have the same compressions.
It sounds very straightforward and almost mechanical, and in a sense it is.
It's a mechanical problem. There's a mechanical solution.
In fact, the mechanical solution is the same delicate surgery that has been done for decades. An incision is made at the base of the skull and the base of the neck to remove some bone around the brainstem and around the spinal cord, producing more space. Under general anesthesia, Dr. Hafez removed some of the bone at the base of the skull that had been squeezing Dorothy's brainstem for 12 painful years.
Squeezing on
And
the
then removed
brainstem.
bone that had been choking her spinal cord in the upper neck.
Choking the spinal cord
Dr.
in the
Hafez
upper
said
neck.
of the over 100 patients he's operated on, 88% report improvement in their symptoms. That means less pain, more energy, and a higher quality of life.
Wow, less pain, more energy, and a higher quality of life. That sounds like something I heard from the alternative medicine people. The whack jobs, the archaic subluxationists. Stay away from the upper cervical region. It's delicate. Don't adjust it, manipulate it. Instead, just chop all the bones out and throw them in the garbage. To remove the pressure so that the person can express more life optimally. We've liberated the potential of this human being through the biomechanical, mechanistic model as applied to a vitalistic system. Thank you very much, and good night. If you don't learn how to communicate this, folks, the cultural authority is going to communicate it to your kids, because that's where it starts. You're going to be going to Mommy, Daddy, can we go over to Happy Pills? This was a homework assignment that my daughter had in public school. It's called Matching Medicines. Which medicine must be ordered by a doctor? Oh, the pill bottle one, over there, the Happy Pills. Which medicine is a liquid that you drink? The drink medicine. Which medicine is a spray that you breathe in? The spray that you breathe in medicine. Which medicine is a cream for your skin? It's the cream for your skin medicine. Here's the 100,000-pound question. Tell what you should do if you feel sick. Correct answer, take medicine. Big that boom. The worldwide development of chiropractic in this century will be determined by those who control the message and those that act. Folks, you know, chiropractors are some of the most apathetic, and chiropractic students are some of the most apathetic people I've ever met in my life, and I don't understand why, because we're the only doctors in the world that are highly trained to detect, analyze, and adjust vertebral subluxation and liberate the optimal expression of human life, and crucial to the transformation and evolution of the planet. I just don't get, knowing that, how you can be apathetic. I'm very appreciative that this group decided to show up tonight, get outside the fishbowl, get outside the bubble, to learn a little bit about all that you don't know and the potential that is out there waiting for you. I'm going to give you a quick 6-7 action steps. I'm not going to talk about this right now. The first step is I want you to learn how to communicate chiropractic effectively. I will mention, because I haven't mentioned it yet, I have a seminar coming up in Barcelona, March 21st or 22nd. It's over halfway full right now. I went to McTimony, and it's up to around 3/4 now with the students that are coming over to Barcelona to learn communication strategies. There are two things, and I coach doctors all around the world. There are two things that hold a doctor back with their success. And ready, it's not technique. I've seen some of the best adjusters on the planet, or the best manipulators on the planet, that get great results, and they have empty offices. I've seen some of the most hatchet job losers, and I'm not recommending that you do this, have tremendous offices because they've learned how to communicate chiropractic effectively. The good news is, no matter how crappy you are at your technique, Innate is on the job to fix all your mistakes. You gotta learn how to communicate chiropractic, and you gotta get a mindset down that's bigger than yourself. This is what we teach at this seminar that I'm not going to mention right now in Barcelona, March 21st and 22nd. Sherman College offers an Academy of Chiropractic Philosophers program in Europe. If you're interested, send me an email. Oh, and by the way, I want to send you, if you're interested, some mindset techniques that will develop that passion within to move to a higher level. These are the techniques that I use to develop a 1,000 practice visit a week office. You may want to use it to develop a 50 visit a week office. It still works. Send me an email at liamschubel@hotmail.com. liamschubel@hotmail.com. Or you can grab one of my cards up here before you leave, and that will have my personal email, and you can send me an email there. Yes. We're 15? Okay, great. I'm doing great. I'm like a professional or something. Okay. Second thing is, I want to put into your mindset, when you're out in practice, how are we going to change this cultural authority? You know, when Robin Williams, the famous actor, comedian in the United States, when he died, the next day, there was a news flash that came out about a new use that evidence-based research has shown for aspirin. It actually interferes, aspirin actually interferes with the interleukins in the body and produces a cascade effect to prevent depression. So now they recommend, if you're depressed, take a little aspirin. We found a new use for it. The pharmaceutical industry has gained control of the media because the media needs to put out content constantly. They have television, radio, and news print. They have to have articles. And when they go to health, the cultural authority for health is medicine and pharmaceutical industry. So the pharmaceutical industry is constantly sending research to the television and radio programs, telling them about the latest in research and developments in their world of mechanisms. If we want to start changing that, we have to start sending the producers of radio and television and print media and social media research about what chiropractic is all about. And I have to tell you, one of the things that helped me to build a large practice was I started getting on radio and television. And you'd be surprised how easy it can be. Because, by the way, they're bombarded with the other perspective. If you offer a perspective that's unique, that's what television ratings are all about. So I went to this vertebralsubluxationresearch.com, I signed up, and I get these research articles every week. And then what I did was, I went on Google and I said, how do you write a press release? And the guy from Harvard in their communications course tells you how to write a press release. So I take the research article, I put it into mentally digestible format for a producer, and I send it off. Do you know how much it costs me to do that? An email is free. And I just do it. And I do it, and I do it, and I do it. It's like, you know, throwing your fishing rod, your lure out there. Okay, no bites, but I do it every week. And one day, the first time I ever got on television, it was this. I sent an article that showed that chiropractic care was shown to have a positive effect, positive outcome, with children that had ear infections. I didn't say chiropractic treats ear infections. I didn't say chiropractic's a cure for ear infections. I said the research that I'm sending you indicates that there is a potential causal factor here, or a link, or an outcome that might be positive. And the producer had a child that was suffering from ear infections, that the doctor had told her, you definitely need to put, you know, the tubes in your ears or your kid is going to go deaf. She was like crying on the phone to me. And I said, look, I don't know. You know, I don't know if this is going to work or not. All I know is this. I can check your baby and find out if they have vertebral subluxations. I can correct those, and let's see what happens. I did it. What do you think happened? So she had me on television. And she, when we did the interview with her, was bawling her eyes out. You want to talk about a positive experience in chiropractic? You change a kid's life. You're instrumental in changing a child's life. You better believe that that mother or father will go to battle for you. You got to get together often with like-minded individuals. That's what we'll be doing out in Barcelona, March 21st, 22nd. You got to join and become active in whatever the organization is. I just happen to have this because I'm in England, but I know there's plenty of political organizations. Whatever organization you resonate with, get involved politically to move chiropractic forward. Whether it's SCA, BCA, UCA, YMCA, get involved with a political organization. You know why? If you don't control politics, the politics control you. You want to be able to practice chiropractic the way you want to, then you need to get involved in politics. I'm a member of the IFCO, International Federation of Chiropractors and Organizations. We have 4 letters. You know, the other organizations only have 3. You got to become active in a chiropractic school. I can tell you this, I was talking to a ACC graduate before I got on here, Abdul Muhammad, and he was just so thankful that I was here. And I was thankful to him because I remember the first time I came to ACC, Scott Jackson there in the back was there, Abdul Muhammad, And these guys are actually giving back now and helping out students. There's so many students that are lost and don't know who to turn to. I would recommend that when you graduate and you have a certain level or modicum of success, that you give back of your time, talent, and treasure to advance the school. Whatever school you resonate with. You gotta be the change you wish to see in the world. You gotta start thinking about something bigger. I'll tell you this, I had for a long time now all the money that I could ever want. But I will tell you what brings about true joy in your life. It's serving, and it's making a difference. Because I don't care how healthy you are right now, 100 years from today, you will be fertilizer. You're going to be fertilizing plants or feeding fishes, whatever, if you fall into the ocean or something. You're going to be recycled. So what makes the difference? You've got to ask yourself this question. I've been pretty blessed. You've been pretty blessed because you have an understanding of this thing called chiropractic that has the potential to transform and evolve the world. You've got to ask yourself this question, what am I going to do on this short period of time that I'm here to make an impact, to leave this place better than we found it? You got to learn how to detect, analyze, and adjust vertebral subluxation. You should commit to taking an adjusting course at least once a year. Commit to a plan for getting your hands on more people. Okay? If you're only seeing 20 people, 30 people a week, you just don't have that much experience. I have a mission trip that we go to Peru. It's a mission trip with a low self-esteem. It's called www.thebestmissiontриpever.com. We go down to Peru. We have two different experiences. We go to the Andes Mountains, to Machu Picchu, and we also go to the Amazon jungle. So there's two different experiences. We start out in Lima, and we have convenios, how would you say, agreements made with orphanages. So we go in and we take care of children, like 1,000 of them the first day. And it's very funny to watch chiropractic students because they've been taught a model of fear. You know, like, oh my God, I'm going to stroke somebody, I'm going to hurt somebody, everything is dangerous, right? This idea. And it's amazing to watch them. You know, they show up to the site the first day, and there's 1,000 people in line waiting to get checked for vertebral subluxation and adjusted. And the student is like this. What are we going to do here, Doc? Well, we're going to check them for vertebral subluxation and adjust them. Is that it? Well, what else is there? We can't plug in any bullshit machines, you know, like there's nothing else we can do here. We have to come in there and actually like do something with our hands. Okay? So you watch them. Is that what I'm supposed to do? Yep, you're getting there. It's more of a manipulation, but we'll get there. Right. Okay, there we go. All right, good. Oh, I love it. Oh, that's good. I'll see you guys. I'm going home. And that's the first day. Second day, you're like, oh yeah, all right, this is great. Boom, okay, moth-eaten alopecia granuloma inguinale. Fantastic. All right, great. Because now they're starting to see the results of the day before. And now they're starting to see things that is contrary to the evidence that they've had before. It's called real life experience. So all the things that they thought were impossible are now possible. The third day, they're going, Dr. Schubel, we got to get over to the hospital right now and get these people out of here. Come on, let's go. They become certaintists. You want to be certain? You want to fall in love with what it is that you do. Join the mission trip. I'm going to leave you with this video. Forget what it is. Oh yeah, I know what it is. It's a video that shows you what the experience of the mission trip is.
Sometimes I get a feeling, yeah. I get a feeling that I never had before. No, I get a feeling, yeah. Oh, sometimes I get a feeling, yeah. I get a feeling that I never had before. No, I get a feeling, yeah.
Yes, I can. Now believe on what with this plan. Pull me, grab from the they have me. I'll be the president one day. January 1st.
yeah. Oh, sometimes I get a feeling, yeah. I get a feeling that I never had before. I get a feeling.
The mountains wild, walk on water. I got power, feel so royal. 1 second, I'ma strike for you. Diamond, platinum, no more for you. That adrenaline, never giving in. Giving up's not an option, gotta get it in. Witness, I got the heart of 20 men. No fear, go to sleep in the lion's den. That glow, that spark, that crown. You look at the king of the jungle now. Strong as ever, can't hold me down. I'm in house, gonna feel them bitches bow. Straight gang bang, it's gang bang. See me running through the crowd, feeling melee. No trick plays, I'm Bill Gates. Taking things, I understand me.
Sometimes I get a feeling, yeah. I get a feeling that I never had before. No, I get a feeling, yeah. Oh, sometimes I get a feeling, yeah. I get a feeling that I never had before. No, I get a feeling.
Gotta love the life that we living.
I get a good feeling, yeah.
I hope that by coming here tonight, you got a good feeling about who you are as a chiropractor, what you do, and why. My hope for you is that you get that good feeling about chiropractic and you share it with the world. Because when you do, you'll find that this thing we got, this sacred trust, the Palmer laws of life, are the crucial factors that will transform and evolve the world. Thank you for coming today. Can I ask one more thing? Could we get a selfie? Let's see how we're going to do this. Excuse me 1 second. Everybody move towards the center. Okay, here's what we're going to do. You ready? It's called a high pie. You know what a pieform is? It's here, and this is what some people use to adjust, right? Yeah, right. This is called a high pie. You ready? Get your arches up here. Get them up. There we go. Up, high. Let's do it. Oh, this is really good. You guys look pretty good, I gotta tell you. All right, 1, 2, on 3. You're gonna get the high pie. 1, 2. Now let me get one without glasses. 1, 2. Now let me get one of this. it's just you guys. You ready? Let me see. I get one over here. That way you're all included. Good. All my 5,000 friends are going to see you now. Over here. All right, now we're going to do high fives. Let's get the high fives. I forgot. Hey, come on. We only live once. Let's get it. Let's get it on purpose. Very good. And by the way, I have my business cards up here. If you'd like to communicate with me, you can do it via email. And I have information about associate positions and the mission trip if you're interested. All that information is right up here.
Thanks, guys. One more round of applause.